Sikuyanade Bal Olaram, or hello everyone and welcome. A Wolves Den Games is proud to present Sunday's Stroll with your host, Geroya'lor Kyr. Hello folks, welcome. We are continuing on a bit with our Skyrim from yesterday. Let's get that mask on, get our view fixed. However, for today, we are going to be doing a bit of a search for... Oh, my cam is not coming up. 1 second. Why is that not wanting to work there? There we go. Ooh, light. 1 second. Didn't realize quite how dark it was. My apologies on that. So, we are going to be headed over here to the farm to talk to Malice. Probably Malice. I do hope everyone has had a good weekend so far. Hopefully this guy isn't attacking me. I'd hate to have to start all over just because of an accident.
I don't think that could have gone any better.
There we go.
Maven wants to hunt down Sabjorn's private partner, huh? You're welcome to take a look around Sabjorn's office. He keeps most of his papers stashed in his desk. Here, this should help.
Good to know.
Start changing it over to the Blackbriar Meadery West as soon as possible. That was Maven's part of the deal. She's put me in charge of keeping the mead flowing, so
nice.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. If you're in the area, you ever need anything fenced, you just let me know.
Even better to know.
I thought it would be better to leave some of the details out of our previous discussion. Didn't want to risk you walking away from the job. Besides, you've done Maven a favor getting rid of him, and saved me from wasting coin hiring someone else to do it later. Remember
Works for me.
A good word with Maven for me.
Okay, hang on a second.
Can't believe that worked.
Huh. I've never been up here before, I don't think. Yeah, I'm mostly doing these quests in particular because I want the armor that comes at the end of it. Welcome, Leonard. I am looking for cabbages currently, along with the paperwork I'm supposed to find. Taking the cabbages, because cabbages, and I should probably be sneaking so this guy doesn't come at me. Gotta take the cabbages. And the gold. Always gotta get the gold. I didn't want the bowl, but okay. Figure while we're here, we might as well raid the place. Up, dagger. Gotta take the dagger for Vax. More gold. Drum for Scanlan. I really love the appearance of the Nightengale Armor. Its ability to help kind of boost your some of your other skills as well is a nice boost, but it's more about the appearance for me personally. Has a very like Batman Dark Knight kind of look to it, and I've always loved that look for the armor. Although what I usually end up doing is running with either Daedric or... That was pure luck. Pure luck. Daedric armor or ebony armor, just because... Well, the heavier armor tends to have better protection. I was hoping for a stone of Baronziah. But I'm guessing not. I'll take those. Books for Caleb. One of these days I'm actually going to make sure that I have a proper collection. Yeah, I take it Skyrim's acting up for you there, Patricia? I hate when the bugs start getting in the way. I was afraid that due to a main mistake... I mean, I enjoy the look of some of the others, like the Nordic carved armor. And I love collecting the various... Of course it's all going to be mead. I don't want mead. I want ale. Because we need ale for grog. Which is kind of funny because the coffee I'm currently drinking is called grog. Where are all their cabbages? Lots of potatoes, lots of other stuff. Oh, that's terrible. I hate when a bug pops up and prevents you from being able to... That's even worse. On a second try and it's still acting up. Come on, Bethesda. You can do better than that. You're not Treyarch. Don't mind me, I have a bit of an annoyance with Treyarch. Specifically due to... it seems to glitch weirdly when it's specifically on my account. And while folks around here have come to calling it a Kyrspiracy, they've also noticed that if my account is attached, the game has a tendency to actively work against you. Which is really, really odd, because I just want the pie. Maybe a sweet roll. Some of these for the kids. Where's your cabbages, buddy? Where's all your cabbages? No cabbages? Then I'll steal your sweet roll. That's terrible. Sorry. I actually have an additional 2 screens up today, specifically for the purpose of being able to make sure I'm following the right specific quests. And I completely forgot that I had Discord open over on that computer. So what I should do... There we go. Had to mute that because that beep just confused me. True, and I know that there had been some glitches that they had fixed that were actually so popular with players that they put them back. Let's not do that quest just yet. I was mainly going to focus on getting the houses, but then it turned out certain things were going to be an issue in terms of that.
If you're looking for a challenge, you've come to the right place.
Cabbage. No cabbages. No cabbages. What is up with these people?
It will keep its hands to itself, yes?
Yes, I'm just looking for cabbages.
If you're looking for a challenge, you've come to the right place.
No cabbage. There wouldn't be cabbage in a mead barrel. There's a cabbage. And yes, I figure there will be people who will end up joining us and be wondering what the heck the deal is with the cabbages. Well, that's due to somebody by the name of Brian W. Foster. Well, actually, no, that's due to... Aha. Somebody's sleeping. Don't wake him up. Why is it not letting me jump over him? There we go. Cabbages? Nope. No cabbages. Books? I'm always big on books. I just wish I could read like I used to. Some of my favorite books I just can't read anymore, which is really unfortunate.
You have good news for me? This doesn't tell me much. The only thing that could identify Sabion's partner is this odd little symbol. Well, whoever this mysterious marking represents, they'll regret starting a war with
the cabbage thing is about
you should bring this information to the Thieves Guild immediately.
kind of a joke that had come up.
I believe you'll find this more than adequate for your services.
Daytime Emmy Award-winning Sam Riegel, and I think that's kind of a requirement to say his name that way nowadays, there had been a vote for something for a show that they do, and in order to make sure that the votes were counted properly, he said, when you cast your vote, make sure you hashtag it Brian Foster smells like cabbages.
The Blackbriar family has always been allied with the guild.
And it's kind of
Our
stuck.
connections with the Empire and within Skyrim make for a perfect fit.
So...
I dare say the guild owes its survival as much to my family as it does to its own people.
So since that particular group of people have been such a big influence and inspiration to us, I figured might as well start doing some collections here on Skyrim to honor that inspiration. Thus the books for Caleb, the daggers for Vax, the arrows and the gold for Vex, cabbages for Foster, things like that.
Of course. Nothing gets done without my approval in this city.
That kind of thing, basically.
I have the Jarl's ear and the guards in my pocket. Anyone makes trouble for me, and I pay a visit to the
In fact, most of those characters and such are on this picture right here.
The next time you make such a stupid observation. Out of my way.
Okay. She's not gonna move, is she? Doesn't look like it. I'll come back for that door later. Cabbages? Plenty of potatoes, no cabbages. You'd think there'd be more cabbages, what with all the potatoes. There we go. Yep. The difference being I've got all those cabbages and I don't eat them. I just drop them off at home for collecting. Okay, on occasion I have eaten the occasional one on accident more than anything else. Let's see. Also, part of the whole cabbage thing has to do with another person over.
You won't get away with that.
Dagnabbit. Really? One gold? Coins? Wow. Way more than I thought I did. Okay, where am I supposed to go? Oh, the Thieves Guild. I can deal with that. I just got to get to the right door. That's not the rat way. You jumped into the water with me. Good boy. I'm kind of assuming the dog is a boy. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not really sure on how that would work. And while the eyes would make it seem like it's a husky, the tail says it's a wolf. I wish they'd make up their mind. Yeah, they're coming after me for one septum, and the main reason I'm running has nothing at all to do with the cost, but rather everything to do with I don't want them taking the other stuff I've taken, particularly the cabbages. So if I give them a little bit to kind of forget. Oh, there's the thief cache. I knew it was somewhere. Nope. You'd think the guards would know where I am by now, just from the dog barking. Can you stop? Yeah. I've noticed they've got some great.
Stop right there.
Hoping to avoid this. Whoa. Okay, apparently I've got even more of a...
I can make all your problems with the guards go away, but it'll cost you. What do you say?
0 gold. Yeah, that's too rich for my blood. Of course I'm gonna pay
Now
that.
move along before you get me in trouble.
Done. That was kind of funny. It'll cost you. What'll it cost me? Nothing. Yeah, I can afford that. More than that, I'm happy to afford that. Sure, why not? I'm sure I dropped that because of a weight thing. Funny thing is, there's all kinds of stuff I meant to go back and grab just to add to trophies back at home, but I just haven't bothered yet. Like back on Soulslime, the cubes to open up the dwarven ruins. Should have gone back and grabbed all those. Excuse me, pardon me, passing through. Where's Delvin? Delvin?
So,
Got something for you.
I may have some. Well. I was looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other unusual trinkets like this, be sure to bring them to me. I promise it.
Yeah, I plan on doing that, just so that
Find this payment to be more than fair.
I get paid for it, and then I can go take it and take it home as a trophy.
Where are you off to? There's work to be done.
I know, and I'm off to do that work. Yeah, that's always interesting when things like that happen. I always sit there and be like, huh, sorry man, talk about bad luck. See, now it's up here, and I can just take it to take it home.
Don't you have better things to do than disturb me?
Actually, I do. I need to talk to somebody over here.
Word on the street is that poor Sabjorn has found himself in Whiterun's prison. How unfortunate for him. Exactly. Now you're beginning to see how our little system works.
I should look up who does his voice.
Word that you discovered something else while you were out there. Something important to the guild?
Just haven't yet.
Then this is beyond coincidence. First Arangoth, and now Sabjorn. Someone's trying to take us down by driving a wedge between Maven and the guild.
That would be bad.
Mercer thinks he knows a way to identify this new thorn in our side. He wants to meet with you right away.
I don't trust
If I were
Mercer.
you, I'd hurry.
Mostly because I
I've never
know.
seen him this angry before.
The weird thing is, I've gotten to the point where I've been down here so many times on previous games that I don't even think about it anymore, which is weird because it had been years since I had actually played this until more recently. And then once I did start playing, I was like, ooh, I've got all the DLCs now. I can do all the stuff I wasn't allowed to before. Like build houses. So that was my focus. And those are for building your lockpicking. In order to increase your lockpicking skills. I'll take those and that. Just because I can. And yes, I know that this means I have like a whole full new set of Thieves Guild armor, but I'm not really worried about that part. I've got displays, and if I don't have displays, I'm sure I can do something with it. Oh. Carrots. the lack of cabbages is actually starting to annoy me. Maybe because I'm actively looking for them now.
Consulted my contacts regarding the information you recovered from Goldenglow Estate, but no one can identify that symbol. It would seem our adversary is attempting to take us apart indirectly by angering Maven Blackbriar. Very clever.
Something to keep in mind.
You jest, but they've been able to avoid identification for years. They're obviously well-funded, driven, and patient. Just don't mistake my admiration for complacency.
We got all 3 of the homesteads built before we started really bothering with anything. I had gotten the last house built, and I was like, well, most of the major challenges we've had to deal with so far haven't been that bad. I mean, bunch of yep, houses level, you're smithing really well.
Even after all their posturing and planning, they've made a mistake. The parchment you recovered mentions a Godjal lie. According to my sources, that's an old alias used by one of our contacts. His real name is Gullumai. Gullumai is our inside man at the East Empire Company in
Good to
Solitude.
know. Yeah, but we had gotten the 3rd house built, which is all you're allowed, unfortunately. And after building the 3rd house, I was like, well, most of our major challenges have been done because we were focused on getting the homes built. And next thing I know, I was like, well, why don't we just take this and we'll go unlock the dragons and see where things go from there. Dagger. Dagger. Where?
I can't believe Gullumai's mixed up in all
Okay.
this. That our
That'll
goon
help.
couldn't find his tail with both hands. Don't get me wrong. He could scam a beggar out of his last septim. But he's no mastermind.
Are you sure?
Trouble? Huh. He's one of the most stubborn lizards I've ever met. You have your work cut out for you.
I ended up not even getting Breeze home until we had all the homesteads built. So, yeah, that's the way we had approached this particular
If
run.
that fails, follow him and see what he's up to. If I know Gullumai, he's in way over his head, and you'll be able to use it as leverage.
Good to know.
No. Mercer wants him alive. For now.
Okay.
Stubborn or not, he's the only contact we've got at the East Empire Company. Just keep on his tail, and he's bound to step into something he can't scrape off his boot. Just head right back to the guild and get the information to Mercer. Nothing else is more important. If you discover
Good to know.
Gullumai's holding out on us and has more loot stashed away than he claims, we'd find that information quite valuable as well.
Oh yeah, we've got a
Good luck in
D&D game
Solitude.
tonight.
Keep Gullumai alive, but remind him who we are.
Yeah. For me, rather than mead, I look for ale, and that's due to Travis Willingham's character Grog.
Yes?
A character who, to quote, I have an intelligence of 6. I've got this. And in D&D, that makes for interesting gameplay. That's for sure. Oh, empty. Dagnabbit. I hate when I hit a button and it doesn't do what I want it to do. Whoop. And I know that we're doing a really serious focus on quests currently, but having most of the houses bought and dealt with, at least the ones that I can technically get so far, without taking sides in the war, I'm going to kind of go for some of the other stuff that I love about this game before we really go back and start worrying about something like that. We will get there, but I mean, we own 6 houses currently.
I'm Charming name, the master vocalist.
We should have the festival soon.
So, what do we have here? I don't deal in land or property.
Okay.
Now, if you're looking for goods, you've come to the right person. Oh, wait. Did you say Golden Glow Estate?
I haven't
apologies.
tried mead yet.
I'm sorry to say I know very little about that.
I don't drink very often anymore. Usually it was just lagers, but
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
I did. I've had a very pleasant peach ale before.
I don't care what you promise. If I tell you the buyer's name and word gets around, it can ruin me. Hasn't Mercer Frey taught you people anything? You kill me, and your only contact with the East Empire Company vanishes.
Technically,
That's not smart for business.
I could take your place.
Now that you mention it, there is something I've been trying to get my hands on.
I figured it would come to
I have a
this.
buyer looking for a case of Firebrand wine. It just so happens to be a single case in the Blue Palace. Bring it to me, and we'll talk about Golden Glow Estate.
Got it. I've heard good things about mead, as far as it being extremely pleasant, but I've never tried it myself. I can't remember. Is Guinness a lager or an ale? I think it's a lager.
It's been my honor to perform at the Blue Palace on many occasions.
On occasion, given the chance, I prefer Guinness over anything else. For a while, the only way I was able to get myself to sleep at any reasonable time was by having a beer before bed, and that gets to be a very, very dangerous habit to get into. So, kind of glad that I kind of stick with almost exclusively coffee. Well, that was simple. Okay, folks, where are your cabbages? Yeah, Guinness is really nice. Another one that I've tried before that they have at one of the restaurants around here. I don't know if there's a Ruby Tuesdays near folks out there, but there's a Ruby Tuesdays has what they call a black and blue, which is Guinness with some Samuel Adams floated above it, and it's a very interesting. I don't think I have that book. I probably do. But I haven't had one of the black and blues in a very long time myself, so I know we've got at least one of those. And yes, this is me just adding to the library at home. Some of these I know I have and all that, and I will technically need to probably go through and sort these at some point. But not today. There's a dagger in there. I have to get it. Whoops. A little further? Maybe? Too far. We'll see. Yay. Stop barking, you're gonna give us away. Darn dog. Okay, odds are I've been here, and this is all stuff I've dropped before. The stuff on the floor, I mean. When I would have a beer for getting to sleep, I would always just stick with whatever was cheapest. But, I mean, some things are much better in terms of flavor. Of course, I'm also always reminded of oh, what is his name? Can you move? There we go. Friar Tuck on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Because there's, on the extended version, there's this point where he's sitting there and he's talking about grain and how important it is and how it's a gift of God so that we can eat. However, he has a greater purpose for it, and thus we shall talk about beer. Just the way he said it was really hilarious. One day, I do hope to make it to New Zealand, because from what I've seen, it is a beautiful country. Admittedly, the only thing I've really seen of it, other than Lord of the Rings, is, well, Lord of the Rings behind the scenes. But doesn't mean I wouldn't love to come by and take a look at the place.
Good. Can't have the buyer getting impatient and looking elsewhere for this, can we? Here, take this.
I've only been outside the country.
For the goods. Not at all. I consider it an investment, prolonging my life. As far as Golden Glow Estate goes.
That's possible. I'm sure I probably take for granted living here myself.
For something big. She flashed a bag of gold in my face and said all I had to do was pay Arengoth for the estate. I brought in the coin and walked away with her copy of the deed. Not at all.
Huh.
I tend not to ask too many questions when I'm on the job. I'm sure you understand. However, I did notice she was quite angry. It was being directed at Mercer Frey.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, as far as that goes, well, not to go off on too much of a tangent, but as far as most churches, from what I've seen, they seem to be more about, never mind what God said, this is what he meant.
In this business, we rarely deal in names.
And that right there causes all kinds of issues, so I try to kind of stay out of that.
Look, that's all I know. I never promised you I'd have all the answers. Now, since our transaction is done, I'll be on my way.
We drink to our youth, to the days come and gone, for the
Just wanted to take a look.
age of a
Get away from me.
just about done. We'll drive out the storm cloaks and restore what we own. With our blood and our steel, we will take back our home. Down with
This is more something I'm familiar with because of Assassin's Creed than anything else.
One of the guards said he saw a mage appear out of thin air. Claimed it was one.
Huh.
Get away from me.
True. Although with the dog barking pretty much all the time, I'm surprised nobody's noticed me sneaking along. Parkour. Rogue's got a rogue. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy living here, but well, everywhere has its issues. And for the most part, it's either weather or need to talk to him for a minute.
It's one of them Imperial scholars, right? Old man with a gray robe.
I used to live in Alabama for quite a while.
Might be that I have, but I can't say for sure. I got enough troubles on my mind just trying to scrape by out here. Can't help you, friend. I might remember better if my pocket. Oh, yes. He wanted me to take him out to Dragonbridge, but I told him it ain't one of my stops.
Good to know.
See ya.
Heh. That way I got a couple of things done all at once. And despite the fact that he's seen me a couple of times, I still seem to be doing all right. Because, yeah, standing out in the middle of nowhere is probably, or standing out right out in the open is probably a great way to stay hidden, huh? That's also a good point. Big cities can definitely be overwhelming, especially if you're not used to them. I myself was born in the capital of Silicon Valley, San Jose, California. So I'm from a rather big city. I moved from there to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for a little while. I lived in Maine for a while, and now I'm in Omaha. When I lived in California, born and raised till I was 19, I couldn't wait to get out of there. And less about the people and more about the prices. Why is there a goat just randomly? They've got cabbages.
Time to end this little bit.
Whoops. That was not the intention here. Better go with something a bit more... Let's not blow anything up just yet. All because I wanted some cabbages. Whoops. Oya. Yeah.
You're not supposed to be in here. Last warning. Leave now.
I've got a better idea. How about I circle so I'm out of the way? And I
Trespasser.
I don't want to have to kill you, buddy.
Over here.
Where'd you come from?
Over here.
That's your best, huh?
They're too loud. He's up there. But yeah, I'll take those. And that. Yeah, we had some interesting spots out in California that I really, really enjoyed. But I'm more of an outdoor person as it is. Really? What's over here? Business ledger. There we go. Just needed to find the right spot. Wait, is that behind all of that? It is. How do I... Okay, so there's got to be a way back behind here. Yeah. Yeah, things there have a tendency to be a bit different in terms of that. So, how did he get through here? Aha. There we go. Wow. I mean, I would love that. I mean, to be completely honest, what I probably miss most about California is Yosemite. Yosemite was some beautiful land.
What was that?
Who's there?
Why did that not register a hit?
This is a surprise.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it also depends on where the accent comes from. After all, different accents in different parts of the country can take a little getting used to if you're not used to it. New Mexico wouldn't be bad. I've been through there. It's just during summer, if you can't handle that intense heat, it can get a little rough.
Who's there?
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. I've spent a lot of time traveling all over the country at one point when I could actually afford it. And that was particularly helpful at times, especially when it came to researching information for the novels I had been writing. Sounds like there was somebody back there. Actually, before I fire, I want to try one of these. Fluff or nutter! Sorry. That could happen. I know that some accents can be a little thick at times. And then when I went to, when I moved to Alabama from California, the thing I heard most often was, "You talk like them folks on TV." Which is kind of interesting to hear.
What was that? Huh?
That was your buddy getting shot.
Found you.
You call that finding me? I knew that was gonna miss.
Do your work.
Need that, those. Cabbages? No. Cabbages? No.
Who's there?
I'm just looking for cabbages. Kind of funny how I almost got myself killed looking for cabbages in the rest of the place. Almost. A little further. Yeah, that usually doesn't work very well at all. Screaming at employees is usually very rarely motivational. At least that's my opinion. I'm gonna check over here first. I'd rather not have anybody sneak up on me. Interesting. Oh, I could have just bypassed all of that. Uh-oh. Oh. Well, good thing there's stairs here. A dog? Well, one thing to keep in mind about America is, despite what the news shows you, that is actually a very rare occurrence. The media likes to blow things up and make it seem a lot worse than it is. And honestly, it's a bunch of nutcases who are going too far with everything. But when most of us have spent most of our lives being taught that human beings are not human beings, that does tend to have a negative effect on people's thought processes. I better get some healing in here. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Just that it's not necessarily as prevalent as the media implies. Whoops. Yeah. There are bad parts of town, but it's like that everywhere. And when you're in areas where people have been pushed to the limit because of costs, then people have a tendency to act out. problematic. But I think if we learn to remember...
Gods help us. Who's there? Done and done.
Probably shouldn't have killed him. But for the crap he put me through. Yeah, that's true as well. Again, it all depends on where you go and the type of people who are there. Yeah, well, depending on where you are. Generally, when it comes to dealing with police officers, your best bet is to announce yourself before you just tap somebody on the shoulder, because considering their occupation, they tend to be at a much higher Yeah. Although it did say find an alternative bit of information, or alternative source of information, and I did grab that. So hopefully that will help fix some of it. All that for 19 gold. Really? And yes, I know I'm just kind of grabbing a bunch of crap, but tends to be how I do things. Yeah, again, certain areas, they might have constant issues with that kind of thing. Skinny dipping tends to be a bigger issue due to various things, to be completely honest. But yeah, due to especially how crazy things have started getting here these days, it's unfortunate that it's gotten to be like that, where people are, not just the cops, but where everybody's kind of panicked about stuff due to a lot of illusion and false information being cast about. Like the fact that we're all human beings, we're all in this together, and altering the definition of DNA just to find an excuse to hate somebody just seems kind of dumb to me. Again, that's me. I never expect anybody to necessarily agree with me on any of my particular views, but I just kind of the way I see it. Yeah, that can also be problematic. If you're viewed as a flight risk or anything like that. Okay. So what I should probably do is go back in there. and try to find that additional source of yeah, because more people die from cars than guns every year. By quite a lot. Mostly due to drunk driving or crazy people jumping in cars and running people down for no good reason. I'm one of those weirdos who tends to think that we're all human beings and therefore we should, whoops, remember that and kind of work on taking care of each other through various types of support. And maybe we will, maybe we'll make it a little bit further in life, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Life seems hard enough without making it more difficult for others. I'd rather support and encourage than... Yep. I don't know about that. I mean, one of the things that people tend to forget is they're focusing on a very small minority of people and choosing their mistakes to determine the rest of the country and how the regular person tends to think. Yeah, Constitution is pretty clear. Granted, we also tend to go by the Bill of Rights, which, by definition, a bill is not a law. And many of those laws on the Bill of Rights kind of go against the Constitution in some ways. After all, the only thing that the Constitution gave us was the rights to life, the rights to liberty, and the rights to the pursuit of happiness. And violating any one of those three is supposed to be breaking the law. I don't know. I'm kind of weird. And as far as politics go, well, I voted Homer Simpson, and I am not lying about that. I'm proud of the fact that I voted for none of the cartoon characters that they shoved down our throats. I mean, honestly speaking, given the choice, maybe, well, first off, everybody tends to forget that you don't have to vote for who they put in front of you. Ever. There's also the fact that the Electoral College is the one who actually determines who's president, regardless of what the people want, as was proven when Dewey defeated Truman. Because popular vote elected Truman. Don't need the hammers. Yeah, and it was determined back in the 90s that video games actually decrease the amount of violence in certain areas, except for those locations where people are unable to afford video games. Kind of a weird correlation there. So, I mean, restating the same old arguments that proved false to begin with is kind of a problem. And then there's also the fact that, I mean, sure, if they I don't own any guns, so it really doesn't matter to me if they choose to want to ban them. But the one thing that I would like to mention is we tried that with alcohol in the 30s and drugs in the 80s. And, well, that worked out well for us, didn't it? Can you move? Okay. Now I'm gonna have to get creative, apparently. Yeah, I mean, movies and TV have increased the amount of violence shown because people have become desensitized to it. So they feel they need to up the stakes for their own particular purposes. And I mean, blaming video games is like it's like blaming literature. The way I see it, there are people who will always take things to places it shouldn't be. And, well, one thing you can't control is what people think. You can try, but you can't force anybody to think one way or another. I mean, you can try and indoctrinate them. I can't leave the wolf pelts here. Oh, there's my cabbages. The other issue is, well, at least here, one of the main things that prevents home invasions is the fact that criminals don't know who has a gun and who doesn't. And considering the serious financial issues most of our country seems to be facing, needing to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet, keeping them out of the home to be able to take care of their children better. Exactly. Banning the guns just makes sure that the people who would use them responsibly will be unable to defend themselves when it comes time. And I mean, hey, if the United States really wants to go that route, well, good luck. While I don't own a gun and really have no interest in them, that doesn't mean, oh, let's drop that one and keep that one so I can put that away. I've seen a lot of issues come up, and I don't know, being able to taking away people's right to protect their own lives and the lives of their families always sounds like a negative choice to me. I mean, we've already proven that the black market just makes more money when we ban stuff. During the during the 80s, when Dungeons and Dragons had their big satanic panic scare, while it did increase the amount of negative connotations and getting it banned from places, that also increased the sales insanely high. And I mean, if people are really gonna ignore the facts in favor of just what you're told, well, then whatever happens, happens, and people are just gonna have to deal with the consequences. Maybe if we just kind of remind people, hey, we're all human beings. We all have the same DNA. Despite whatever imaginary invisible line you might happen to live behind, or the production of melanin within the epidermis, because neither of those things determine race. The race is the human race. Maybe if we get back to that and remember that life means something, things will get better in this country and in the world in general. But I'm crazy, so. Exactly. I mean, Al Capone, one of the biggest and most well-known mob bosses and criminals. Whoops, I put the wrong thing in there. Oh well, I gotta replace everything anyway. Whoops, and I still did it wrong. Now I just feel dumb. Yep. That's how I look at it. I mean, if you really think about it, even the term racism is stupid because it's not true. We're blaming people for their genetic history, their cultural history. I mean, that's like blaming somebody for having blue eyes or green eyes. And until the world stops inventing, or maybe that's the wrong term, maybe when people stop altering definitions just to make excuses to attack fellow human beings, maybe things will get better. Until then, we let idiots who have very little knowledge or qualifications to run a country, and yet they're the ones in charge. Why? Because they have the money. That's all. My view is anybody who seeks out the job of president obviously isn't qualified to hold the position, because they don't understand what the rest of the country goes through on a daily basis. And they don't care. Yep. A lot of people like to talk about the multi-party or the two-party system in this country. There's not a two-party system. It's a one-party system. That one party is the politicians versus the people they're supposed to protect and defend. And then they claim it's a two-party system so that they can sit there, screw everybody over, and point at the other side and say, it's their fault. Blame them. They did it. And we let them get away with it. And they continue to make things worse and worse. And continue to blame each other, when the fact of the matter is, they all did it. Again, one of the reasons why I voted Homer Simpson. I am a Mandalorian at heart. That means my focus is I will do what I have to defend and protect my family and to make sure that we can survive. That's it. Everybody else, you're welcome to go do what you want, and good luck to you. I'll leave you be if you'll leave us be. You come at us, we will defend ourselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean we only defend ourselves from a physical aspect. There are more kinds of defense than just attacking somebody. I mean, if you can keep things to the point where people don't really have any kind of footing to come at you with, it makes it a lot harder for them to sit there and argue that what you do is wrong. If everything you do is designed to defend and protect yourself and your family, and you don't infringe upon anybody else's life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness to do it, I don't see a problem. Oh, absolutely. If politicians had to live the way the rest of the people in their country did, actually the way I'd put it is they should have to learn to survive on whatever the poorest person in the country has to live on. Maybe then they will make the laws that will save lives instead of taking them. I mean, yes, I understand. Gotta think of the greater good. Well, the greater good is human life, folks. Period. End of story. Am I wrong? Oh yeah, I can't really go back until I find that other thing here, can I? So I need to go back to Solitude and figure out what's going on with the thing here. Because I need to find another source of information.
One of the guards said he saw a mage appear out of thin air. Claimed it was one of those Sijic monks.
Technically speaking, there are more than two parties that attempt to gain power. Unfortunately, only the two with the majority of the money end up getting that. Yeah, I never understood the way any of that worked, especially because nowadays the people that end up in charge are the ones who are, well, least qualified and know far less than they attempt to claim. And yet they're the ones who are making decisions that affect the lives and the deaths of other fellow human beings. And, well, that just seems wrong. Just in case. But yeah, again, I've always been the weirdo who actually tried to look toward taking care of as many people as possible. Unfortunately, whoa. Okay, if they're gonna come after me, come after me. I don't even care with that much iron. Yep. It's just, lately it seems more and more that making those decisions en masse from a group that was intended to strictly defend against outside sources and let the states rule themselves, as long as it fell under the purview of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was one thing. That was part of the original intention. And then now it's, well, whatever keeps us in our seats. Never mind what helps the people. What keeps us employed as politicians, because we have no other skills. Well, both parties are technically required to have to work together. They just don't. And then when things don't go right, they blame the other side for being the problem. And that seems like a problem from the very start to me. Those are all empty. But again, these are my opinions, not necessarily the opinions of our company. And, well, my whole view is humans should take care of humans. And until that point, I don't necessarily mean like everybody cover each other financially and that sort of thing. Because, I mean, that ends up getting skewed way out of balance, and people end up having far more problems than help. My thought is, if we can support each other emotionally and mentally, and encourage people when they need it, and be there just to be like, hey, I understand what you're going through, and if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. That alone can make a huge difference in people's lives. And, well, that's exactly the kind of cooperation I've been trying to talk about for a while here. And it's something I was glad to not only hear, but see coming from the crew over at Critical Role. Because that support that emotional support, that, for lack of a better term, familial support. That's what the critter community, as they call it, that's what they've done for people. And it's made a big difference. Yeah, the fact that only the presidents have term limits is a major mistake. And maybe if some of our senators and congressmen were required to live as their constituents, as far as costs, and not getting multiple payments from multiple committees they might be serving on, maybe that might make a bit of a difference. The majority of them. I mean, most of them don't really do anything for us whatsoever except divide us and keep us too busy fighting each other than realizing how badly we're being screwed over. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of the weird ones who, when it comes to government and politics, until you are doing something that is actively harming me, my family, or infringing upon our right to live, I really don't care what other people do. It's up to them to deal with whatever consequences may come from their actions. In the meantime, I will do my best to just take care of me and mine. And if that happens to include the community that we build here, then so be it. I have no problem whatsoever being willing to back and support those who feel the same, I guess, for lack of a better term. I mean, I never expect anybody to pay much attention to me, but I do my best to try and be here for folks as much as possible. And when people are having a bad day, I try and make sure that as long as I'm awake, I am on our Twitch channel. So if anybody ever wants to talk or just needs a little encouragement or some of that support that I was talking about, right over here is the address. I'm always here as long as I'm awake and in the office. So even if we're not streaming and somebody needs something, whether it's somebody to say, I understand things are going rough, but it'll be okay. You're gonna get through this. Or somebody just needs a little brightening of their day. Or if something's gone really, really well and for whatever reason you can't get a hold of family or friends or somebody to share the news with, we're here and we are more than happy to share in all of that with folks. The good times and the bad. Family's more than bloodlines, and I believe that sincerely. I don't care whose DNA has mixed with whose. When it all hits the fan, the ones who stand beside you, that's your family. And those are the kinds of people that are my heroes. And Mandalorians do not have a word for heroes. Because what some people view as heroes, those who risk their lives for the sake of others, is something Mandalorians do as no problem. That would be awesome. Yeah, and I mean, to be completely honest on my end.
You're not supposed to be in here.
Okay. Well, you're the only one still left alive. I mean, it used to be that when it came to medical stuff, people would talk to a local doctor who would come and show up at their house and help figure out what the problem is and take care of them. Then the insurance companies got involved. And once you get insurance companies involved, once you get people more interested in money than life, then you start having problems. It's why hospitals charge way more than any of those things are actually worth. Because their thought is, well, the insurance will cover it, so it doesn't matter how much we charge. People will pay it because they have insurance. Well, not everybody can afford insurance. Again, another thing that government has made quite sure of. Has anybody in chat seen the movie Idiocracy? If you haven't, that is a prophecy of where the United States is currently headed. And we are far closer to that now than I think any of the politicians would want us to believe, at the very least. Which does become problematic. Human beings, as human beings, yeah, Idiocracy is, see, Luke.
Looks like you had no trouble.
Oh. Forgot about this.
Already been felt. The ice runner has, without the lighthouse, the ice runner would have swung wide of the western shoal and run aground on the eastern coast. My sister Dija will be at the wreck with our Black Blood marauders. She knows to expect you.
We'll get to that. Will it let me travel now? But Idiocracy is about how something about, oh, how was it put? It kind of the opposite of Darwin's theory of evolution. rather than this, well, kind of going more directly toward the weird bits about evolution and things mixing in ways they shouldn't. And a couple of people end up frozen in stasis and woken up hundreds of years later with what's left of the United States, and they have to try and fix it. Oh yes, I love Firefly. I aim to misbehave. Absolutely.
We need to do something about these vampire attacks.
We probably should. Nice to say that right next to the daughter of, like, the king of the vampires. Smart move, lady. Whoops. I meant to go there. But Firefly is very much the kind of thing that I'm thinking of, where they just want to take care of themselves and those on the ship, who at that point have become their family. And here comes the Alliance deciding, no, you're going to think what we tell you to think, and you're going to do what we tell you to do. Wait.
A mercantile group that has established. The Emperor himself supposedly backs them, which means they have fairly unlimited resources. So don't get their feathers in a ruffle.
Yeah. That's exactly how it is.
Works in the East Empire Company warehouse.
And then poking our, and then sending
that means he has the pick of the
American lives overseas to poke our nose in other people's business. So I understand why other countries are pissed at us. Why aren't our politicians?
There are thieves, and then there is Gulamai. No honor, no code at all. He'd shake your hand and stab you in the back at the same time. The cut he's supposed to provide the guild has dwindled as
okay.
He says pickings in the warehouse are slim, but I'm certain he's lying. Keep your eyes on him.
Yep.
He's quite crafty. Good luck in
rather than spending the tax money on the things and options they need to. Specifically, you know, taking care of the people they were elected to take care of. They forget that they, well, for lack of a better word, they serve at our whim, not the other way around. But too many Americans seem to have forgotten that, and that's unfortunate. If people are looking to fix things, the first thing we need to do is stop listening to the people telling us that human beings are not human beings. As well as the fact of, particularly,
Clifton's under my protection. You watch yourself now.
Human life is worth more than
Die, Lord God. I love it when dinner walks right in front of.
Whoops.
God, get nervous.
Hooded black robes? That one's new. Where'd the gargoyle go? Just gone?
What business do college majors have in a place like Sarthal anyway? It's a place for not dead, not your weird experiments.
What the... Okay. We'll get to that stuff later. So apparently I have to go back to Yep. Yep. Exactly. And if we're too divided and too busy having to work multiple jobs just to take care of our families and be unable to actually be there for our kids, then no wonder things are going the way they're going. And then they sit there and wonder, wait, why are things going so bad? Because you did it to us. I heard a dragon. There he is. Come at me, dragon. Really, folks? You're not gonna run from the thing? You're just gonna stand there? Where? Stop moving. I don't see him. Okay, so I have to run up to the top of here just to deal with the dragon. That's kind of interesting. So now I run all the way up here and it's back out here. Wait, really? Well, that was interesting. Okay, now I gotta try and figure out how to get more information out of East. Or the shipping thing.
Take my advice. Never gamble. Damn Ernskar has me in too many drinking games, too many bets. He's a stubborn oaf. I don't know what good it'll do.
That's unfortunate. Oh, wait.
You should speak to my daughter a bit. She's the brains of
It's really dead then. You're really going to the... If you are willing to wear one of Radiant Raymond's outfits and speak to the Jarl, I would not only pay you, but let you keep the outfit.
Okay.
Good. Here's the outfit. Try to get Elisif's opinion on it, and if she likes it, mention it's from Radiant Raymond.
Oh, wow. That's a little messed
Not
up.
an insult. Just, if I were walking around with a wound, I would want you to tell me to see a doctor. Your outfit is something of an open wound.
Hey.
Where tire is concerned.
You realize I could blow you up, right?
Nothing at all. It's very nice. If you want
It's
to look
very
a little more style, however,
nice.
you should come by our shop, Radiant Raiment. We could fix you right up. Remember Radiant
really
Raiment
dead
when
then?
you need a
Really
change
dead
of
then?
attire.
No, it's really dead then.
Vines bless you. May the ground you walk quake. I'm too old to work. That's best you be
In
too
all
old
my
to drink.
years, I've never seen such a thing.
It's really dead then?
I don't know. Does it look really dead then?
Do than bother an old man?
By the gods, I don't even know what to say.
Say thank you. That's what most people would do. Kind of wish they would have taken out one of the Solitude guards so I could grab their shields and stuff. I'm gonna head over here to the Radiant Raiment in a minute. Because this is the Fletcher, right? Guy who makes arrows, I'm assuming. cabbages. Good thing I looked. Don't mind me, folks. I'm just kind of wandering here. Actually, I will need to take a short break here. This is our D&D night, so, and I do apologize for starting a bit later than intended, but it, well, health reasons. It was a rough night, especially with my ankle acting up. But I will step in here, grab a place to sit, and we'll see if we might be able to get this figured out. And I'll be as quick as I can. Probably. Okay, let me... Okay, so just give me a few minutes, please bear with us, and I promise I'll be back as quick as I can. So until then, see you in a few. They've walked you through Horizon Zero Dawn, through The Last of Us, through For Honor. This summer, one man, one horde, one motorcycle. Many, many locations with an open world map. And one very large arsenal. When the dust settles at the end of the day, who will remain standing? Will it be Deacon St. John? Or those he stands against? Find out for yourself at twitch.tv/wildwolfgaming1. Stay wild, everyone. In the video game streaming system, the viewers are represented by two distinct groups: the gamers who provide walkthroughs and compete for wins, and the entertainers who provide nonsense and fun. These are the games of the Insomnia Squad. Doink Doink by Mike Post. come to twitch.tv/wolvesdengames and click the follow button. That way you will be notified for further games by the Insomnia Squad. Please bear with me, folks. I've got a couple more things I got to get done real quick, but I will be as quick as possible. Can at least do that. But I will be back as quick as I can. Thanks for bearing with us here. They've walked you through Horizon Zero Dawn, through The Last of Us, and through For Honor. This summer, one man, one horde, one motorcycle. Many, many locations with an open world map. And one very large arsenal. When the dust settles at the end of the day, who will remain standing? Will it be Deacon St. John? Or those he stands against? Find out for yourself at twitch.tv/wildwolfgaming1. Stay wild, everyone. In the video game streaming system, the viewers are represented by two distinct groups. The gamers who provide walkthroughs and compete for wins, and the entertainers who provide nonsense and fun. These are the games of the Insomnia Squad. Doink Doink by Mike Post. For the record, if anybody would like to see any of these other games that are mentioned here on any future streams, feel free to let us know. We're more than happy to feature more than just Skyrim and Fallout and Hearthstone and Borderlands. I mean, we clearly have more games available than that. Come to twitch.tv/awolvesdengames and click the follow button. That way you will be notified for further games by the Insomnia Squad. Okay. What I figure, while we were doing that, I had checked regarding whoops. I did that wrong, didn't I? Yes, I did. I'm going back to here so we can get this done properly. My apologies on that. I didn't want to do it that way, but if we don't, then it will mess with our with the reward that comes at the end of it. So I'm just going to quickly do this and get us caught back up where we need to be. Well, I have no problem with folks just having us on for background noise, but I do appreciate everyone who does stop in, even if they don't speak up. I do find it interesting that all of our Facebook stats are way higher than our Twitch ones, and yet Twitch is kind of the needed one. At least in terms of being able to help boost things so we can upgrade stuff here at the studio and for the tabletop gaming. But we'll get to there.
Start changing it over to the Black Briar.
We've already gone through this, so I'm just gonna kind of jump ahead.
I thought it would be better. Besides, you've done Maven a favor getting rid of him. I thought it would be better to leave some of the details out of our previous discussion.
And I'm not gonna go seriously chasing after the cabbages, even though I probably should for all the ones I just lost. But I'm more worried about getting this back to where we were. I will worry about raiding everything again later. That's always cool. And I have no issue with where people watch us. Our main focus is tabletop games and getting the word out. While Twitch does help, we do have Facebook and YouTube that we stream to at the same time, which is kind of odd. I'm not used to streaming to multiple places at once. Okay, now I'm going to... Whoops. Let's get this all fixed. Okay, this is 287 for those following along. And I've got my players showing up to play D&D in like 20 minutes. I think that may have happened in at least a television series. Okay, those two I'm grabbing because I can.
If you're looking for a challenge, you've come to the right place.
I trust you have good news for me. This doesn't tell me
There's
much.
that.
Well, you should bring this in. There's also the matter of your payment. I believe
Still
your
sort of
price is
dismay.
more than adequate for your services.
Again, just kind of trying to do this quick because well, I got D&D players expected in 20 minutes. And I've got a whole thing set up for them now, and it should be interesting. I thought the last Sharknado was the last Sharknado. But that's Hollywood for you. Never mind whether or not we have a good story. It'll make us money.
If you need marksman training and you've got the coin, I'm ready.
It's kind of also the whole never mind how badly we destroy someone else's
Word on the exactly. Now you're beginning to
never mind how much we destroy someone else's intellectual property, whatever puts money in our pockets. And that just doesn't seem right to me. Oh, and by the way, Patricia, regarding Firefly, there's actually a D20 tabletop role-playing game for Firefly.
Yeah, I guess
I have no experience with it, so I don't know how well it's done.
It would seem our adversary is
But it is something out there.
Maven Blackbriar. They're well funded. Just don't mistake my admiration.
Okay.
Because the parchment, his real name is Gullumai. Gullumai is our I'm betting
Yep.
Get out there, shake him down, see what you come up with. To Brynjolf before you leave if you have any questions.
I can't believe Gullimar's mixed up.
There we
in all
go.
this. That Argonian couldn't find his tail with both hands.
With both hands. Don't get me wrong. You could scam a beggar out of his last septum.
No mastermind.
Sorry, I practice voices a lot.
Stubborn lizards I've ever met. You have your work cut out for you. You're going to have, if that fails, follow him and see what he's up to. If I know Gullimai, he's in way over the... Aye. If I'm not being clear enough, for now,
okay,
just keep on his tail and he's bound to step into something he can't scrape off his boot. What did you need? Good luck in solitude. Keep
I needed to get back out of here so we can get that taken care of. I mean, technically we still have dinner before we actually start the game. But that does mean I've got things I will need to get done before the game starts. So I'm going to do my best to try and get... That'd be cool. I do find it kind of cool that our streams have inspired a few people to start playing Skyrim and Dungeons and Dragons, even better. If folks are interested, I will see about possibly setting up a one-shot. I can't guarantee that we will have...
It's breathing fire in the sky. Vampires breathe. They are attacking people on the street.
Dagnabbit.
It's the end of the world, I tell you.
I haven't played Metal Gear. I know Metal Gear Solid. But, well, due to finances all my life, I've been limited on what games I've had available. And
so, what do we have here?
On what
Let me guess.
platforms.
By your scent, I'd say you were from the guild. But that can't be true, because I told Mercer I wouldn't deal with them anymore. I don't deal in... Oh, I'm sorry to say I know very little about that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I can't be expected. Well, I have a buyer looking for a king.
Okay, there we go.
And we'll talk about Golden Glow Estate. No firebrand wine yet? Don't disappoint.
Some of the well, I've always been more of a tabletop gamer personally. Ah, that's cool. Over on Critical Role, well, over on their channel on Twitch, they also have some videos up on YouTube. Well, all their videos are up on YouTube. But they have a show called Yeehaw Game Ranch, which is kind of part of our inspiration for starting all this. And Travis Willingham and Brian Foster sit down and play video games, kind of like the way we do, where it's strictly entertainment, mandatory stress relief kind of thing for their company. One of these days, I'm sure I will start getting some additional games for us to bring to you guys, but with our focus on tabletop, I'd really like to try and set up some kind of one-shot so I can give folks a better idea of just what it is we do when we're not on a stream. The first one I played was one of the old Ataris. I don't remember which system exactly. And then I got one of the original NES systems. And then I had a Sega Genesis for a while. And then the N64. After that, nothing for a very long time. Then I got a 64 back because GoldenEye.
Ah, good. Here, take this. I certainly can't use it. As far as Golden Glow Estate goes, I was approached by a woman who wanted me to act as the broker for something big.
We write and design tabletop games. We've got a board game in the works. We have a couple of very simple system tabletop RPGs out. Let's see. We've got a collectible card game in the works. Our main focus is a setting guide for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. But yeah, we tend to spend most of our days, until we started the streaming, like 12 to 16 hour days, putting working on various parts regarding the setting guide and some other tabletop stuff. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot in terms of artwork or anything quite yet. And I still have a lot of map work to do and homebrewing classes. Yeah, Miss Adika has been continuing with the Dalaran heist when she hasn't been streaming. But, well, health-wise, gotta keep certain things in mind. That's usually how I tend to play as well. Yep, I'm working on Thieves Guild. I ended up having to back up because I accidentally killed him and screwed myself up. So I'm gonna keep an eye on him this way. Because it's harder for him to spot me if I'm over here. There he is. As long as he keeps going. I'm mainly doing Thieves Guild because I want the Nightengale Armor. That is the entire purpose. And I'm hoping to get this done before my players get here for D&D. Yeah, I hope that doesn't affect your game too bad, because that would be terrible. I'm gonna do this kind of the risky way. Oh, I didn't even know that did that. Stop barking, dog. Although I still say by the tail, that's gotta be a wolf, not a dog. Because a husky's tail curls up and over its back, but a wolf's tail stays down. So despite its blue eyes, which is not common for wolves, Out of sight, out of mind. There we go. That was nice and easy. Now hopefully I can get this done before they get here. I'll go the Navy method. Now it's just a matter of keeping that symbol in sight.
Never should have come here.
Who's there?
Gods, another fight.
Where'd you go, buddy?
I'm getting out of here.
You better be getting while the getting is good. Yeah, I tend to not... Well, I prefer not to do any serious grinding on anything if I can help it. Gotta love water breathing.
Supposed to be in here. Last warning. Leave now.
Nothing here out.
See, I know where he's headed. So it's just a matter of waiting for him to get here.
Is someone there? Found you.
Until somebody hits me, I'm staying focused on... That was kind of cool, riding a dragon.
Gods, another fight.
I'm getting out of here.
Wow, I actually saw him through the cracks in the... That's true. Always, yeah. Yeah, Azadel is definitely not a pushover. Hey, why is this... And now it won't let me move? Oh, come on, Skyrim. Don't be like that. There we go. Okay. Okay, I was able to slip out of that. Unfortunately, we do have company here now, but I will at least get this done real quick so we can just get it cleared. Especially because I had to back up and redo it. Yeah, because the bend will is set to dragon strength at this point, I believe I could just ride any dragon I wanted. I will be out as quick as I can.
Did you hear something?
Hmm? Okay. Well, that's because the door's closed.
Need something?
Really?
Is someone there?
Time to end this little game.
I didn't mean to be using those. At least not yet. Crap. How does fire get me in the water? That makes no sense. There we go. Yeah, apparently I just was really surprised that they were like, talk to them. What? Okay. That was nice and simple. I'm kind of on my Borderlands technique here. The fire bit doesn't make sense to me.
Anybody there? Thought I heard something.
Now there's no need to do anything rash. This isn't as bad as it seems. I was gonna tell Mercer about him. I see you wish to be reasonable.
No. I don't know what the heck happened there.
Perhaps I misjudged you. You want the information or not?
I do, but I'm being attacked. Now you're gonna talk to me.
Help. No, no. Look, I didn't even know it was her until after she contacted me. Please, you have to believe
But the whole fire while you're in the water doesn't make much sense.
No. When I asked her where she was going, she just
Yep.
where the end began. Here, take the gold. Mercer never told you about her?
Well, we took care of that. I can always come back here and raid things. The main point was to get that finished. Oh, I won't forget. Parkour. Oh yeah. It always helps when you know what's already there. Yay. Okay, we got that done. This will get the next quest unlocked. As my players are already here, I'm a little late. I'm gonna go get this finished up for the next part of the quest to kick up, which is called Speaking with Silence. And we'll jump back to the house for our usual closing remarks. I'll just have to keep them a little quick. But yeah, our main purpose as far as the streaming is entertainment, some very chill chat if possible. It's less about the game and more about finding common ground and getting into that whole community strength. Building a community where folks feel comfortable being able to come and share their bad days and their good ones, and have people who encourage and support them on the way. So that's why I do my best to try and reply at least vocally to any comments. And if not, then I do try and reply when I can to comments that are after the fact. We do have stuff up on Facebook and YouTube and here on Twitch. And if you're looking for more information on us, we have our website link posted over on Facebook. We also have that and other links posted down below our video screen here over on the Twitch channel. Even if you just wanted to come over and take a peek and click on the links to find out more about us. We do appreciate everybody who steps in.
Yes, and here's your payment for solitude.
And
Yourself and meet me at the ruins as soon as you can. We can't let her slip through our fingers.
this will get me the Nightengale Armor. That's all I'm really looking for at the moment. So yay. And we'll talk to her about the armor here in a minute.
Sure, we can talk.
But currently I need to jump back to the house. But yeah, if folks are having a bad day and just need somebody to talk to, you're welcome to swing over here to our Twitch channel when we're not streaming, just to stop in and say, hey, what's up? Or to share something good that's happened for you, or even look for some a friendly ear who will listen during a bad day. That's our main focus here, to remind people that one of the great things about tabletop gaming is bringing friends and family and communities together at a table and finding that common ground and having fun and getting to know each other. And then there's less conflict. And less conflict means more understanding and more cooperation. Trying to focus more on on friendly competition helps fight against that toxic mentality that comes with high stress competition. And in the end, we end up with a stronger community where people can know they can come and talk to somebody who will listen, might not necessarily agree, but is willing to hear them out and encourage them when things are going bad, and help show some emotional and mental support when things are going good. If we did a lot more of that, I think this world would be a lot better off in the long run. And yes, I am weird, and I'm proud of that fact. My views may not necessarily be something everyone agrees with, but I'll do my best to defend and support my community as best I can. Whether it's here on our channel, on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, or in person. If someone needs something, a shoulder to lean on, a friendly ear to listen, or just someone to give a little encouragement when it's needed, that's what we're here for, folks. And if that's the kind of message that works for you, well, we do appreciate you guys getting the word out for us. Up to you, though. In the meantime, I am going to have to call this here. We do have a Dungeons and Dragons session that's coming up. I can't guarantee an Insomnia Squad tonight, but if we do one, I will make sure that information on that gets posted over on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere I can as quickly as possible. Don't know how long the game will go, so I can't really promise one for tonight. In the meantime, we will see you tomorrow around 5 p.m. for folks who are willing to come hang out with us. And if not, well, we'll see you when we see you. So, there, that's a little better. Thank you for joining us so far. We do hope that you enjoy the way we play, or at least the conversation. And until tomorrow, around 5 p.m. Central U.S. time, we hope that you have a wonderful night, wonderful day, wherever you happen to be, and that you'll be willing to join us for the next one. Don't forget, folks, cooperation, competition, community, things we need just to get by. At least if we want to continue surviving. So let me go grab our announcer, and I will call it for now. So until next time, bye for now, folks. Thank you all for joining us. Please give us a follow on twitch.tv/awolfsdengames. Long days and pleasant nights. Jate ka nade, or good night, everyone.